The Ministry of Education is determined that every child must learn. And in today's show, we'll look at the support being given to schools for the deaf. Also boosting the Jamaica Fire Brigade's capacity and some vital tips on how to prevent getting infected with the H1N1 virus. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson and we go straight to the news desk with Andrea Chisholm.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Thursday, March 24. Through government's intervention, commuters are to benefit from a 25% discount on the proposed toll rates for the north-south leg of Highway 2000. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement yesterday as he officially opened the Caymanas to Angels and Monique to Malmö Bay sections of the north-south highway. It means the full length of the 67-kilometer highway is now opened to the public as the Linstead to Monique and Linstead to Angels segments were previously completed. In announcing the discounted toll rates, the Prime Minister said negotiations would continue for a balanced toll amount.
A toll that satisfies the investment obligations of China Harbour and China Construction Communication Company. And the people of Jamaica who really want to use the road and get the benefit of the reduction in travel time, wear and tear, and increased economic activity.
He thanked the developers, people and the government of China for partnering to build the $720 million road, which will be transferred to the Jamaican government after 50 years. In the meantime, the Prime Minister said government would be working to have the corridor along the highway developed to maximize the opportunities in tourism, sports, recreation, agriculture, light manufacturing and ICTs. The government intends to put a fuel inspectorate in place, which will have responsibility for monitoring fuel quality standards. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Dr. Andrew Wheatley made the announcement on Tuesday at a ceremony to relaunch Total Jamaica's fuel card. The development comes against the background of cases of contaminated gas discovered at several service stations across the island last year. Dr. Andrew Wheatley says government is committed to having a robust regulatory regime in place to govern the handling and custody of petroleum products. He is also urging industry players to commit to ensuring that there is no repeat of cases of contaminated gas in Jamaica. Cabinet has approved an increase in payments to government pensioners,
ranging from $1,100 per month for those persons receiving pensions of $60,000 per month and up, and at the higher end, in terms of increase, we saw $2,000 per month for those receiving pensions of under $30,000 per month.
The Information Minister made the announcement at this week's post-cabinet press briefing. He also disclosed Cabinet's approval of Supreme Ventures Limited as the preferred bidder for the privatization of Caymanas Track Limited CTL.
The final sales terms, however, are to come back to Cabinet for final approval.
The St. Thomas leg of the Health Ministry's Vector Control Cleanup Program was launched on Wednesday as the government accelerates its intervention to minimize the spread of the Zika virus. Having registered one case in license, St. Thomas is one of 2 parishes with confirmed Zika cases to date. The other 4 cases are from Portmore, St. Catherine. The intervention in St. Thomas began in the Morant Bay Town Square as stakeholders started the walkthrough and handed out educational material to residents. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton stressed that controlling Zika and the other vector-borne diseases could not be the sole responsibility of the ministry.
The fight against this type of disease is really a solution laid squarely in the realms of collective responsibility. It means keeping your backyard clean, making sure there is no breeding ground for the mosquitoes.
The next leg of the Operation Mosquito Search and Destroy initiative is scheduled for Saturday, April 2 in Mandeville. Secondary students will now have more options for learning with the Education Ministry's launch of its Alternative Pathways to Secondary Education APPS initiative. It was launched on Wednesday. The new program will cater to the various learning styles and proficiencies of students, ensuring that secondary education is diverse and more customized to their needs.
The pathway will therefore allow for students to identify their careers at an early stage and progress through the system, selecting the track that will get them there. At grades 12 and 13, therefore, students will have the opportunity through, now we're bringing back the career advancement program, to move into the traditional sixth form program or a technical sixth form program. We will also include opportunities under the National Apprenticeship Program.
Under APPS, all students at the secondary level will be placed under the compulsory education policy to complete at least 7 years at this level or up to age 18. And finally, the Education Ministry is assuring that students sitting the CXC external exams will be provided with extra answer sheets if they need them. There had been public concern about CXC's policy to cease giving extra answer sheets to students sitting the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency examinations. The Education Minister addressed the issue at this week's post-cabinet press briefing.
We have been in touch with CXC, and we want to assure the public that CXC will be working to ensure that extra paper will be provided just in case that students require the extra paper.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.
Emergency warning signs of influenza in children include fast or troubled breathing, bluish skin color, dehydration from not drinking enough fluids, sluggishness, not waking up or not interacting, irritability, that is, the child not wanting to be held, fever with a rash, and flu-like symptoms which seem to go away but return with fever and a cough. Children exhibiting these signs need urgent medical attention. In adults, emergency warning signs include difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, pain or pressure in the chest or abdomen, sudden dizziness, confusion, and severe or persistent vomiting. If you see any of these signs, consult your doctor or a public hospital or clinic close to you. A message from the Jamaica Information Service, the Voice of Jamaica.
The Ministry of Education is committed to providing a tailored learning environment that caters to the needs of deaf students. There are 7 of these schools island-wide, and Education Officer in the Ministry's Special Education Unit, Christina Addington, shares more with us.
So much has been done by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information to advance learning of deaf students. And with me to talk about these achievements is Education Officer within the Ministry, Christina Addington. Welcome, Mrs. Addington.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a bit about the different stages of hearing loss and how it affects the ability to learn in the traditional school system.
Okay, well, Andrew, hearing loss occurs on a continuum base going from hard of hearing to deafness. And on this continuum, there are different levels. So we start off with a mild hearing loss, then you can have a moderate loss, a severe loss, or a profound loss. It's important to note that it is the level of loss being experienced by the child that really impacts on if the child is able to be educated in the traditional system or if the child has to be educated in a segregated system. For children who experience mild hearing losses, for the most part, they're able to cope and experience success in the regular school system. But for this to happen, there have to be a couple factors that have to be in place. Firstly, the student has to be amplified, fitted with hearing aids. The child has to be in a small school setting, most importantly, in a small class size. so that there's not a lot of background information to distort information being shared between teacher and the students in the classroom environment. Another thing is the teacher working with a child has to ensure that she or he utilizes specific strategies that will help the child maximize whatever residual hearing that the child has. So things like placing the child at the front of the class. The teacher has to also remember he or she cannot turn their backs to the class while teaching. They have to ensure that they always have the child's attention, let the child know when they're speaking to them. And the greatest thing I think also is that the parents have to be very, very involved, because once there's great parent involvement in the educational life of the child with a mild loss, then this will better ensure success.
So Mrs. Addington, how many specialized schools are there for these students?
Well, to date we have 7 special education schools for the deaf across the island in Jamaica. We have 3 public schools which are operated in partnership between the Ministry of Education and the Jamaica Association for the Deaf. These are the Danny Williams School for the Deaf. They are in Kingston, in Pope Estate, Papine, and they have 2 satellites. One, a preschool center, which is attached to the school, and another unit class at the Excelsior Primary School. The St. Christopher School for the Deaf is also a primary school, and that school is in Brownstown, St. Anne, and it has a boarding facility. And Lister Mayor Gilby High School for the Deaf is the high school for the deaf. And that school has 2 satellites. So they have a satellite in Maypen and they have a satellite in Port Antonio. The other 4 schools are private schools. They are the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf. They operate 3 schools, one in St. James, one in Manchester, and one in Kingston. And the Jamaica Christian School for the Deaf, and they operate in Lethe, St. James.
So how has the ministry been advancing the learning of these students in these particular institutions?
Well, the ministry has been playing its part. For the most part, there is greater interaction and greater support to the public schools. One of the things that the ministry has done a couple of years ago, through discussions, the special education unit lobbied for posts of teachers' assistants to be established for the schools, special schools. And so the schools for the deaf, all the schools for the deaf, public schools, they got teachers' assistants. It's important to note that these teachers' assistants, they're not called teachers' assistants in the schools for the deaf, but they're called deaf culture facilitators. So although their role is to assist in helping the teachers to bring across the concepts, they also have another, which is a more important role, which is they are the deaf models for the children. The children are deaf, they are deaf, so the children have models and they display the culture, the deaf culture. So then and there, the children are seeing and learning about their culture and learning that it is okay to be deaf. They're deaf and it's a part of life and how they can succeed. The ministry also has put in place quality education circles, and all the schools for the deaf are engaged in a quality education circle. So the principals meet with administrators from other schools, they share information, and so the principals are able to learn and get advice and share information. The high school for the deaf has benefited from being placed on the e-learning Jamaica project, and so all the teachers there have been trained and are better equipped to, infuse the technology into the teaching learning process.
So what are the advantages of learning in these specialized institutions?
Main advantage, I would say, is at the schools for the deaf, the pupil-teacher ratio is 8:1. So we talk about 8 students to 1 teacher. Now, when you compare that with a regular school system where it's 1:35, but in most cases 1:40 or some more, we can say that the children are in a setting which makes concessions that they cannot hear. So they need more time to be spent interacting, engaging in learning. That the teachers, for the most part, in these institutions are special education trained. So the teachers are trained in deaf education, and while in school they have what they call in-service training, where the Jamaica Association for Deaf provides training in them gaining Jamaican Sign Language competence. So we know that the teachers, are being trained to effectively communicate with the children. So they're getting the information because it's being effectively passed on to them in a manner which they understand. The methodologies used are methodologies which are specific for enhancing learning with the population. And as I say, small setting, persons know and better understand them and are better able to work with them.
Perfect note to end on, and signs for you to follow up on. We want to thank Mrs. Christina Addington from the Special Education Unit in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information for sharing with us today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, until next time, see you around.
No, son. A verb is an action word.
Parents need to become more involved in their children's education.
Parents are the first and in many cases the most important teachers.
Read with your children. Review their schoolwork. Visit their school.
Tapping and rapping and slapping, I said.
Nice. High five. Woo! A good education will never decay.
We turn our attention now to matters of local government. The Portfolio Minister recently outlined several targeted areas for improvement, which includes the fire service. Here are the details.
Revitalizing governance at the local level is a major priority for the new administration. Since assuming office, the Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie has been meeting with departments and agencies that report to the Ministry of Local Government. They include the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the Jamaica Fire Brigade, the Board of Supervision, which deals with infirmaries, and parish councils. The overall mandate is clear.
This government's agenda is predicated on growth. And local government is going to play the part. Local government contributes a significant amount to the economy of Jamaica.
And so the ministry will be realigned to fit with that objective. Minister McKenzie has already indicated that money allocated to parish councils through the Equalization Fund will have to be used differently.
It can't be just all about cleaning gully, cleaning drain and chop down tree. There can be meaningful ways that we can use the Equalization Fund that will contribute to you earning revenues.
As for revenue earned directly by the local authorities, such as property taxes, the local government minister wants them to collect more.
What I think you need to increase is your ability to collect the revenues that are out there. Enforcement has to become an integral part of the council's existence.
Then there's the matter of accountability and transparency. He says stakeholders will have to get reacquainted with the laws guiding local government operations.
We're going to be having interactions in every parish council with all the sitting councillors and those who are aspiring to become councillors. Because anybody who is an elected representative and don't know what the laws allow you to do don't deserve to be elected. The policies of this government is that the economy must grow. And the work of the Jamaica Fire Service will have to be up to scratch, because fire bears a significant burden on the economy of the country.
Some immediate priorities: getting a new headquarters for the Jamaica Fire Brigade, upgrading the training facilities, and getting additional equipment including fire trucks. A significant advancement was made in that area following the signing of a grant contract between the St. Elizabeth Parish Council and the Government of Japan in March. Through Japan's grassroots human security project, the Asian country will provide about $9.5 million to refurbish 3 fire trucks and provide a water tank. 2 of the trucks and the tank will be housed at the Black River Fire Station, while the other truck will be stationed at the Junction Fire Station.
The funds that our embassy is contributing will cover costs of reconditioning of those vehicles and shipping fees to transport them from Japan to Kingston, Jamaica. Those fire trucks will enable the authorities in the parish of St. Elizabeth to provide emergency attention and care for people in dire needs within the parish and neighboring communities.
And I want to give the assurance that the only way that the people of St. Elizabeth and in extension the people of Jamaica will be able to repay the government and people of Japan is to maintain what we get and ensure that we maximize to the full potential of the units.
If we brick by brick seek to build the brigade, we'll get there, notwithstanding the difficulties that we face.
So the Ministry of Local Government is on the move, working to transform local authorities to improve their services to the Jamaican people while boosting economic growth.
Several awards were handed out on the final day of the Kingston Animation Conference and Film Festival on March 13, and we were there to get the reactions. Coretta Sina and her team walked away with 3 of 17. These were for Best Caribbean Short Film, Best Jamaican Production, and winner of the pitch competition. We start with the team's reaction.
Unbelievable. Unexpected as well. I mean, wow. We're still like taking it in right now, so it's a good feeling.
I'm absolutely overwhelmed. I'm speechless, and well, all this positive feedback, all this passion I received, and yeah, I really appreciate Jamaica and appreciate this welcoming culture and this sense of humor and all these beautiful people.
It was very inspiring to know that our work was recognized all the way here in Jamaica, and we feel so honored to have received that prize. It's been so rewarding after all our hard work.
It was a big shock. It's really exciting because this was my first pitch, first entry into any competition.
I'm very motivated now because based on the improvement that I've seen with Kingston, I'm sure we'll be going places now.
This win means that the work of the Caribbeans is recognized, that we can see ourselves in cinema a bit more because we have no visibility. And it's a victory, well, not for me only, but for everyone.
There's a lot of talent here that I was impressed. So I didn't expect to just win the prize for it, because like I said, there's a lot of talent in Jamaica, around the Caribbean and everything, and that was displayed here.
The prize is a summer program to Capilano University, which I'm hearing is like from Canada, so it's a very pristine kind of university, so it's coming at the right time, and I was actually hoping for this kind of prize, so it's paid off.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes,
superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Original.
Did you know that the influenza A H1N1 virus spreads just like the seasonal flu? The flu virus spreads mainly from person to person through coughing or sneezing. You may even become infected by touching things that the flu virus is on and then touching your mouth or your nose. There are everyday actions that can help prevent the spread of germs that cause respiratory illnesses like influenza. Take these everyday steps to protect your health. Cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Throw away the tissue in the trash after you've used it. Wash your hands often with soap and water, especially after you cough or sneeze. Alcohol-based hand sanitizers are also effective. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. Germs spread this way. And try to avoid close contact with persons with flu-like symptoms. A message from the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
It's a new beginning. New day is dawning. It's time to arise. We are the gene of achievement and pride.
A bold new beginning. Time for action. We have the spirit to fight on.
This is Jamaica. This is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica. This is our land.
Let us make every effort to forge unity and resolve to work hard for our prosperity.
Leaving our children a legacy of hope. Breaking the shackles and smashing the yoke. This is Jamaica. This is Jamaica. This is our land. This is our We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part building this great nation. This is Jamaica.
Let me hear the children say.
This is Jamaica. This is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part in this great nation. This is Jamaica. Come on, everybody, let's sing. This is Jamaica. This is our land. We have our future with God in our plan. We'll play our part in this great nation. This is Jamaica. This is our land.
Jamaica, together we can.
As we come to the end of today's show, I leave you with two quotes from two distinguished gentlemen. In the first, George Bernard Shaw reminds us that life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. And Abraham Lincoln tops it off with, in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. So as of today, make your life count. Make it worth living. The Jamaica Information Service has programs to help you get started, like how to register a company, start up Jamaica, and even how to foster a child. Just log on to our website, jis.gov.jm, or YouTube channel. You can also send your feedback to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or tweet at JIS News. We'll be back tomorrow, so on behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.